Hello everyone and welcome to another time trial video. Yes, we've had two in a row here. The AMG was yesterday. The Renault Clio is today in the background. And yes, we are at Bathurst for this one. It's a Renault Clio V6, so it's quite a powerful, small little hatchback, to be honest with you. Although Americans, you probably don't think it's that powerful. Sports hard tyres. The key to this one is all about momentum, and the gold estimate I've put around a 2:33.6. This gold time, or rank 1 time, is going to come down quite a lot. I feel there's a lot of time still in this lap available. If you do enjoy this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content here. But what we will do, we'll jump into this one and I will explain exactly how to do it. And hopefully you can get gold, because I feel this is one of the easier gold time trials that you can do. So heading towards turn 1, on the left hand side, you've got the pit there, okay? And the end of the pit building is your brake marker for turn 1. You're going to brake as it hits the edge of your screen. You're going to drop down to third gear and then let the car roll a little bit through the corner, okay? You can see where that is on chase cam. So I release the brakes here, let it roll a little bit, and I'm looking for 57 miles an hour. Then I start accelerating out of the corner. You can use a lot of the exit there. I did go on the grass a little bit, but it's all about carrying momentum, this car, keeping that speed up, because while it's powerful for a Clio to have a V6 engine, it's not that powerful in terms of a car as a whole. We get towards the end of the first sector here, and then we're looking towards the right-hander coming up. Okay, so on the left-hand side, it's a usual sort of brake mark here. You can use where that barrier is there, the end of it on the left-hand side, or alternatively, the end of the runoff here. So they're the two squares I've highlighted there. Now, for this one, I found being quite aggressive seems to work. For some reason, on this particular corner, you have to be aggressive, non-aggressive in some places. So I come down to third gear, I chuck it in, and then I'm trying to maintain 70 miles an hour, and then instantly accelerate. So, literally, hit 70, start accelerating. If I start to understeer, lift a little bit, and then go on again. You come up here then, we go into the left, it's flat out at this point, and then we just dab the brakes a little bit, but what we're waiting for is that long white line there. It goes straight at that point, okay? So it circles, then goes straight, and this is when I start braking hard. Now, I want to stay in third gear for this one. It feels unusual to do, but it's better to do it. Okay, so we start out wide and we try and bring it back in. The harder you brake into this corner, the more understeer you'll suffer, but third gear throughout it, because otherwise you have to change gear and you suffer with that gear change. We accelerate up the hill then, and at this moment in time, it's all flat out really. You don't have to worry too much. Very easy to go through this. No real markers here. As you come down here, the compression here, I lift a tiny bit here. On the wheel, don't touch the curb. On the pad, you can touch the curb. I'll explain that on the pad lap. But as we get to the top here, the end of the curb there is your lift-off marker. You don't have to brake for this one at all. Just lift off. All you're going to do here is try and maintain speed through the corner. Remember, it's all about maintaining that speed. It's not as essential here because you're going to go on the brakes quite quickly. But here we go. I lifted a little bit. I'm trying to maintain a decent speed through here and continue on there. So I lifted a little bit throughout the corner just to maintain that speed. As we approach the downhill section, this is where it gets a little bit tricky now. So the LER rate sign, as it gets close to the top, near the mirror, you can use that. Alternatively, the building on the right-hand side, really good marker. You're going to hit the brakes. Now, for this one, you want to brake hard in a straight line and trail brake everywhere else. So trail braking, hard in a straight line there, and we've gone down to third gear, then hard in a straight line. Always brake in a straight line. If you remotely brake as you turn with this car, it seems to suffer. On a wheel, on a pad, it's different. As we get to the dipper, we've got the curb, the inside curb there. The end of it is your brake marker for the left-hander. So you can see I've just hit the brakes here just before it gets to the edge of my screen. And then I'm going to chuck the car in. It does suffer a little bit of understeer here. You do have to abuse the weight of the car a little bit. But you can see here, settles down nicely and we can accelerate out of the dipper then. On the right side, we've got the black barrier going into the white barrier. That is your brake marker for this right-hander. And it's just a dab of the brakes to turn it in, okay? Now, I was playing with dropping to third gear straight away and staying in fourth gear and then going to third gear later on in the braking phase. Because what you do here, you turn it in. I'm staying in fourth in this particular moment. And then hard braking in a straight line. I then go to release it to turn on the inside. Let the car roll a little bit and then accelerate in third gear. Third gear out of that corner and then just start accelerating down this straight. Poised elbow is an interesting one to get right. I actually find it difficult to get right on a pad. And I will show you my pad lap. On a wheel, I find it a bit easier, and it's all to do with weight transfer as you go into that corner. You just have to prepare for it, so don't go too aggressive into it. With the dab of the brakes, turn in, let the car roll, and then brake. I'm going to head down towards the chase then as we go through the right-hander here. And on the right side, we're looking for the end of the sign there on the right-hand side. So the S or the red. Or you can try and get as close to the 150 board. You are braking early here. You're carrying a lot of speed. Remember, the Clio V6 does not have good brakes in this situation with the speed we're carrying. So you do have to brake earlier than expected. brake in a straight line, and don't be aggressive with the brake in here, okay? If you try and brake later and get as close to the 150 board, you go a little bit deep and you lose momentum. Remember, this is all about carrying the speed. It's not necessarily about braking or being last of the late brakers. It's about braking a little bit earlier and carrying the speed through the corner to maintain the speed on the exit. The 100 board or the tree here is your final brake marker. Of course, it depends on how quick you do the chase. And in this situation, I try and just brake at the 100 initially just to get your feel for it. And then I push towards the tree then. I stay in third gear here as well. And I'm instantly on the throttle on exit because I'm trying to maintain the speed. One thing you do have to think about on this car is oversteer. It does suffer from some power oversteer as we go into the pad lap here. Again, the end of the building on the left-hand side. And we're looking for 57. We dropped to 55 there briefly on the pad. But again, you're seeing here, notice how I lost a 1.5 tenths, but because I carried more speed on this pad lap, I'm actually improving on my previous lap. Momentum, carrying the speed through the corner, that's what it's all about. Going too aggressive quickly does not help you with this car. But yeah, this car can suffer some power oversteer, but on the pad, you can be more aggressive. So here, at the end of the escape road there, we turn in. We're going to be very aggressive here on the pad, and actually, we catch up to our Ghost up ahead there. Notice this, like the Ghost distance decrease there because I was more aggressive on the pad, and I can be as well. It's got literal hidden aids there that help you. It's here as the line goes straight on the brakes. We go into here. You can drop to second gear and then short shift to third if you want to. I struggled a little bit getting on the pace here, and again, look, the time dropping now because I didn't carry the momentum compared to my previous lap. This is all flat on the pad as well, nice and easy here. You're going to gear shift around 7,200 RPM if you are wondering with that one. Into the compression. Here I can touch the curb on the pad and I can really go through this corner very quickly indeed. Same for the left-hander here. I'm really going to be very aggressive. Again, just on and off the throttle a little bit here to make sure I don't run too wide. A little bit wide there. I'm actually going to fifth gear. You don't have to do that as you come down the mountain then. Again, hard on the brakes. We can be aggressive on the pad because of the hidden aids there. It does help us in this car. Over towards the left-hand side. Through we go. And you can see how much time we actually gained there on the Ghost briefly. We just lost a little bit on exit there. That's just because of me not using the pad very often. Is going to Forest Elbow. Now this one I did struggle on the pad a little bit. Notice I had to just come out of the turn a little bit. That cost us a little bit of time, but actually benefits us more compared to the previous lap. It did cost us time overall. I was hoping to get a 2-minute 30 lap on this one, but I'm not spending hours on it. Of course, this is just to show you a pad lap is possible to get gold and 2 million credits. We can breathe a little bit now as we head towards the chase then. And what we're doing here, we're 3.5 temps up. So this is looking like a 2:30 lap, but I can tell you I do make a slight mistake coming up. I can't remember which corner I do make the mistake on, but we're going to come into the chaser before the 150 board. There, we hit the brakes, drop to third gear, we turn in. I'm going to accelerate through the corner. Yeah, as notice that I just ran a little bit wide. It's going to force some oversteer. It forces me out wide. And notice this tiny bit of oversteer has cost me a tenth of a second there. That's how much it's critical to carry the momentum, but don't get the oversteer. So the 100 board there, I brake a little bit earlier here just to get the car around the corner. Start accelerating out. And again, carrying that momentum through the corner, I start to gain lap time back again. So that's a 2-minute 31.0 on the pad. Didn't get well in the 30s, the pad, as we go towards chase camps. Remember, the end of the pit building on the left-hand side is your brake marker. ABS is on default for those that are wondering. I know people ask me about that all the time. ABS is on default now, and this is what I did both those laps on as we head towards the end of the sector time. Now, with this one, again, avoid sliding and just focus on momentum. So each corner, brake a little bit earlier than you expect. Go through the corner and accelerate quite early in a lower gear and your car will just pull through. End of the escape road there. We're going to turn in here. Third gear. Try and maintain 70 miles an hour. There we go. Hit 70. We start accelerating. We make the corner. Absolutely not a problem. Right, let's go up the mountain then. We're going to head towards the left-hand side. Here we go. As the line goes straight. Hard on the brakes at that point. Third gear. Turn in. Start accelerating as early as we can to try and maintain that speed. Because we're in a lower gear. Remember, that's lower down in the power band. So if we maintain 1 mile an hour more, it's significant all the way up this hill. Remember, there's no lift-off points here. It's all acceleration, so you can gain so much time on that corner. It's very critical to get right, and don't go too tight on it either. Taking a wider line can actually help to come back in. So through there, we did do a slight lift here, just before the curb here. Another slight lift as we go into here, trying to maintain that speed as best as we can. Just dropped to 106 there. And the building on the right there is going to be our brake marker. So slightly on the brakes, hard on the brakes in a straight line, release, hard on the brakes in a straight line. As we go into here then, we're looking for the end of the curb, left, turn in, happy days, accelerate through the corner, avoiding the barriers. Barriers will invalidate your lap, just keep that in mind. A black to white barrier on the right hand side is your brake marker. Hard on the brakes in a straight line, turn and start accelerating as early as you can. You can gain a lot of speed here as well. A lot of time is available at Forest Elbow. You saw that in the pad lap especially. If you can maintain 2 mile an hour extra, you are going to be flying down here and carrying so much more speed. It does mean you have to be careful when you do go into the braking zone, because you're going to have to brake that a little bit earlier. This is why I'm saying brake a bit earlier, because if you brake that a little bit earlier, it'll settle the car nicely. You can just roll the car a little bit, carry the speed, and then start accelerating. What I'm going to talk about again here is on the right side. So just before the 150 board, the sign on the right there, I'm going to hit the brake. So third gear, turn in. We clip the curb, not quite there this time, but we accelerate through. And again, we've carried the speed through the corner. I've said it a million times, and it's to just say, do that, and you should get gold. I think this is one of the easier golds to get here, in my opinion, just because it's a long lap, which does mean the percentage gives you a bigger time frame, and there's a lot of straights still there for you. It's not a huge amount of braking. That is the 2-minute 30.2 lap. I do expect 2:29.2 or 3 to probably happen at some point, because I saw time in my lap and I was still flying each and every time. But with work, etc., I've got to only spend an hour, edit the video, and then I get back to work. Yeah, this Clio V6, I do think is one of the easier gold time trials to get in terms of getting 2 million credits, so do give it a try. It's kind of fun as well, if I'm honest with you. It really is, and the pad isn't at a disadvantage on this one either. If you have enjoyed this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. And as always, do check out the partners down below where there are affiliate links, and of course you can use code Tidgney at checkout to get discounts as well. Thank you so much for watching. Check out those 2 videos there as well in terms of time trials, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.